Welcome back to the channel. We did promise that we were going to do a summary of the cruise, so let's get straight into it. I'm Cans and this is Cans.
Yes. So what we've done is we have got notes because we can't remember everything, and we broke it down all into sections. So I'm going to start off with how we booked the cruise, really.
Yep.
So we normally book with P&O Direct because I do have a blue light card working for the Health Authority, and they do offer extra onboard credit if you go direct with P&O. So that's the tip that we got told, and since then we've always used P&O Direct. They offer Saver or Select fare. We tend to go by Select because we like to pick our cabin. We like to go midship, especially if we're going from Southampton,
Definitely.
where we can go through the North Sea
Or the Bay
Biscay.
Biscay. Yeah. So a little tip somebody told us years ago is that we should take stooge on about 3 days before we go, something every day, and then keep it in as while we're on the cruise. I used to travel the Irish Sea to the Isle of Man forward and back a lot, and I was always ill, but this with stooge on I never feel a thing now, so not been ill once on a cruise, thankfully.
No, you've done really well.
Yeah,
haven't
not
you?
done bad.
Not even, and we've had some rough seas going down the Bay of Biscay.
Choppy.
When we were away in
choppy.
February on the Morella, we hit choppy seas around the
so.
Canaries, so it certainly worked for you. Then we move on to our cabin choice as well. So we like to go midship, as I said, and we like to go in an inside cabin this time because we've done it on the before and we've had a balcony, but we find going through the fjords there is far too much to see, and last time it wasn't used. So when you're going up on deck, which is worth getting up for at 3:30 to see all the different sailings, you're not in your cabbage much at all. So we find that we opted for an inside cabin this
go. So if we're going to do a cruise from Southampton, we generally drive down and stay the night before. We've got family who live down there. We don't normally stay with them, but we do pass and see them sometimes, but we do an overnight in Southampton. And this time we stayed at the Botley Manor, which was a really nice hotel. We didn't realise at the time, but they do a cruise stay and park package. So you can arrive, stay, have breakfast, car stays there, and they arrange a taxi to take you to the ship, to bring you back at the end of the cruise, pick your car up and off you go. Seems a really good service, and the pricing quite competitive. I'm not going to quote a price now because they change all the time with the season and etc.
Yeah, when we were waiting to actually leave the hotel and we went outside just for fresh air, because they do complimentary tea and coffee, don't they?
Yeah,
while you're waiting.
So
we were sat there, and it was really strange because as we were waiting to go and embark the ship, people were coming off collecting the cars, and they were saying what a fantastic service. The taxis were waiting for them. So if ever we didn't get CPS again, I think we would use that service.
Definitely would.
So then we get to head to embarkation. Now, all I can say is you see lots of comments. If you follow us like on Facebook and vlogs, people arriving early and you can get on early. Yes, you can if you're lucky, but they do set your times for a reason. So it's a lot smoother. You're not shuttle around. There's not long queues.
Yeah, it's staggered.
Yeah, it's staggered for a reason.
It's not a stampede.
Yeah, I mean our day of boarding was very, very dry, like the rest of the whole cruise, which was fantastic. But if it's a wet day, they've changed it completely now, which we'll go into later, but you stand outside in lines now and you only go into the terminal when it's your time. So I can imagine if it's a wet day, the little thing cannot be over, will be a bit miserable queuing out there. So then when you get on the ship, before you get on the ship, you get your boarding passes, and that acts as your cruise card until you can get to your rooms at 1:30.
And get your own card.
So you can get your drinks with your boarding pass. You can go to the shops if you want to buy anything at the shops, and that acts as your boarding pass until the cabins are ready at 1:30 when your cruise card's waiting for you.
Okay, so our choice of cabin for this was 9143. Unusually for us, it was an aft cabin. We generally go for a midship and lower deck, just so you don't feel the motion of the sea. But with us booking a bit later than everybody else, we didn't have that option. So
we got on the lower deck.
yeah,
on
we
deck
got on the
9 that
we
but,
wanted 9 rather than 12 or whatever. But yeah.
So you did obviously feel a little bit of movement,
Yeah,
didn't you?
it wasn't as bad as it could have been because the weather was quite nice. So we didn't have the high winds and choppy seas like you could have done further crossing. So
we have done a review on the cabin, if you haven't already seen this, on one of our vlogs, and we didn't realise that the cabin was on its own, and it's not like us not to do our research, really.
No, come unstuck a bit.
Yeah, and we thought, oh, that's good, being on its own. But the reason why it was on its own was next to the service area.
Yeah.
And the banging of trolleys and doors.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Now, as I said to you just a bit ago about going in and getting up early, we were on deck quite a lot for our sailings.
Yeah, we were up for 4:30 at the latest.
Yeah, 4:30 at the latest, generally 3:30. Didn't bother us whatsoever. However, if we'd have been on a med cruise
and we wanted to lie in,
you would not have got one at all. So bear in mind, just do a little research to check where your cabin is, just to make sure you're not near a service area, because it'd be a big point.
Yeah,
that we
they do recommend
before.
that when you book a cabin, you pick one that's got a cabin either side, and one above and one below. So you're not near the restaurants, you're not by the swimming pools, or not by the theatre or anything like that, or the shop. So
no, that's a good point.
You shouldn't really get disturbed at night.
Ours was one of the square-shaped cabins for an inside and not a rectangle. And we did know this before we went, because we did see some pictures of it. And what appealed to us was having the settee. So we forfeited the desk and chair, which acts as a vanity unit for people, or a lot of people work.
It's a two-seater settee.
A lot of people work while they're away, so they prefer the desk for the laptop and stuff like that. But we opted for the settee, and in the corner there was still our cupboard where we had our tea, coffee, our fridge underneath, some shelves with a mirror, and that acted as a vanity unit for me at night, just to do my hair and a little bit of makeup that I wore. So that was fine for us. Iona, very short on storage. A lot of cupboard space, but no drawer space whatsoever on the Iona. Now, we knew this before.
Not in our cabins anyway, or the inside from all accounts.
I think reading the balcony cabins and the vlogs, people have said there's no drawers at all.
There's hanging space, there's cupboard space, but no drawer space.
Seeing this before we went, you ordered some
magnetic hooks
and
some small tote bags. So what we did, it was in a corner which was out of the way. I hung 4 of these magnetic hooks with the tote bags, and we put hats and scarves, which we didn't need in the end, underwear and bits and pieces, so that
walking socks for our walking boots,
for the boots.
That didn't take up any space
It really
whatsoever.
worked well for us.
It worked fantastic.
Little tip there.
And we picked it up.
Hooks with the ceiling.
I'd say if anyone doesn't watch any of the vlogs or join a Facebook group, we picked up quite a lot of tips, and it really helps you as you're going along.
Definitely.
And we're able to share tips then with you moving forward. So I think that's about all on the cabin, isn't it, really?
Yeah. It was a nice cabin. It was small, but it was functional.
And it did us for what we did.
The
weather that we were up on deck all the time.
We were hardly in the cabin. We were up early every morning for the sail-ins, and in the evening we loved the sail-outs. But we found with the light in the morning, the sail-ins were spectacular into the fjords, especially Hellesilt and Olden. They were fantastic, and if you can get up at 3:30 in the morning to do it, I'd recommend it. You won't be disappointed.
No, the sail outs are lovely, and you've got the atmosphere of everyone up on deck. But it just seems like one lot of colour, doesn't it, going out? Wherefore you go through the stages of being dark, sunrise.
You get light and shade, and it was beautiful.
It's just a personal choice again, but sunrise and sailings
But another thing
is
there's a lot less people on deck for the sail-ins and the sail-outs, so it's a bit more manageable.
When we sailed into Olden and we were on the deck 8 at the front, the promenade deck, I'd say there was only, when we first got up there, say 4 very big photographic enthusiasts with all the camera equipment, and probably an hour and a half later there wouldn't be a maximum of 20.
That was all maximum.
So it was pleasant to see, well worth to see. So the first day, Iona is a wow. She's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love the ship. But when we got on that first day, queuing for the drinks at the bar was absolutely terrible. I must have been the 20th back in a queue a couple of times. I think because of the fantastic weather we had, everybody wanted to be up on deck and at the poolside bars. When we went down to the quays, there was no seating, the queues going by. It's the biggest ship that we've been on. And I said to Clive, oh, have we done the right thing? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the capacity on it, don't quote me, is about 5,600. And there was 5,000 adults and 400 children on board, which sounds a lot, but they were in the pool in the day, weren't they? And that, but on the whole, it was okay.
Yeah, and also as well, after that first day and night, it wasn't a problem at all because everybody found their own space. Because what some people like in one restaurant, another person does. I mean, out of all the bars on the ship, we only really use 4. The Infinity one in the day, and others like at night before we went to dinner that we'll tell you about after. So to be quite honest, it wasn't a problem at all, was it?
Not at all. Okay. So next on the agenda is the holiday app. We found this really good. We'd already booked for a dining experience and paid the deposit before we went on, which was, I think, was £9.50 per person.
For the beach house,
For the beach house. But after that, when you get on board, we found it great for booking the restaurants, and they give you can book a time and it'll give you 20 minutes to go to once it say your table's ready.
So it gives you a chance for a
finish your drink and not have to rush it.
We used to obviously take a glass of wine back to the cabin while we were getting ready, and while we were having our last bit of wine, you'd go on the app, book as a restaurant where we were going. He'd often say, oh, we're 30 minutes in a queue. But by the time you'd gone up, chosen what bar you were going in, we'd no sooner finished our pre-dinner drink and we were called to the restaurant. So we never found that a problem at all, even for the shows as well.
Yeah, the shows it was really good for. I think that people weren't really using the app. And on some of the shows, they weren't checking you going in. The exception to that was the 710 Club. If you want to go in the 710 Club, try to book it as soon as you get on the ship, on the app. If you don't manage to and it's full, if you turn up about half an hour before the show you want to see, they do start a reserve list. And on 2 occasions, we got in on the reserve list, so it's worth a try.
We bought the early one, didn't we, to go in before dinner, and then after we'd had a few drinks after dinner, we just said, oh, shall we go and wait and see if we can get in?
And we got in.
So we were lucky. We went in the 710 Club 4 times that week, and there were the fantastic musicians out. Yeah, really experienced it was. So we're talking about the restaurants now. So we did 5 restaurants really. We did the Olive Grove, the Beach House, the Pearl and the Aqua, the Horizon very, very briefly. So we'll start off with the Olive Grove, eh?
Yeah, the Olive Grove. Before we went, we were a bit dubious about this one because there have been lots of negative reviews on the quality of the food and the service, but we went 3 times during the cruise. We had fantastic food every time. The seating was lovely. We managed to get a table by the window each time we went. The staff weren't as stretched as in the main dining rooms. There seemed to be a better ratio of them to customers, so they were happier. They had time to stand and talk with you as well, which was really nice.
Yeah, we had a good laugh with them.
We had a good laugh with them, so they were really nice.
Yeah. There are an extra charge for some of the dishes.
Yeah, but we...
I can't think offhand what they were because we went in 3 times and we didn't get a charge once.
We had something different each time
we went in. So I can't honestly say what it was extra charge. But I'm sure if you look online on Facebook and type in the menus and type out the Olive Grove, then you'll find out what the chargeable things are.
So the one we went to that we paid for was the Beach House.
Yeah, which we said we'd booked that before we went because we definitely wanted to try the lava steak that everybody raves over.
The steak on the lava stone, you get an option of 2 stones. One's a plain lava stone, one's a salt lava stone. Unfortunately, when we requested it, the salt one had gone, but the experience on the regular lava stone was fantastic. It stayed hot the whole way through. You could cook your steak adequately to the way you liked it on it.
Yeah, because I like it very well done.
And it comes with a side of the king prawns, where you get about 4 king prawns on the side, which are absolutely fantastic. Now, Carol doesn't eat king prawns, but they did her a side of the beautiful chicken strips, in tempura batter.
Lovely.
They were absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
so,
it was really worth it.
I thoroughly recommend it.
And we took a picture to send back to the family because our son's a really big steak cooker and loves on the barbecue.
Yeah,
and he thought it was a portion for two. He didn't realise that it was one each. It was a big fillet of steak, so that was good. So then the other times we ate in the Pearl and the Aqua. Now there's 4 set dining rooms. We only ate in 2 of them. The Aqua is quite a smaller one, so a lot of people prefer that because it's more intimate. We actually were the opposite. We love the big one.
Yeah,
over the 2 floors, and also the big windows
massive
at the
windows
ship.
at the
so
back.
again,
So
we had lovely table seats. We just asked the waiter, got
beautiful.
the wake of the ship and the lights, and even though Norway doesn't go dark till late, the reflection and you're still seeing the scenery and everything.
It was beautiful.
But we found them absolutely fantastic. So it's the same menu across all of them.
Yeah.
But out of our choice, we preferred the Pearl, didn't we? We did mention. Sorry, go on.
We did actually have breakfast in the main dining room in the Pearl when we were in Hellissilt, and that was beautiful, looking at the waterfall.
And then every morning since we went in.
So.
Otherwise, we had breakfast at the Quays.
Yeah, the Quays breakfast was really nice.
Yeah, it was, because they had lovely omelettes that I had, and you had your English. But
it's buffet style, but there's an omelette station as well. But the buffet style, it was small amounts. It was regularly replenished, and it was kept fresh and hot.
We try and stay away when we cruise from buffets, I'll be honest. Probably a bit for the hygiene level as well. This time we use the Horizon just to grab a couple of sandwiches on an afternoon tea if we were eating later, or we'd miss lunch because we'd been in the main dining room for breakfast. And we used it for coffees on our sailings early morning, because they have coffee out there from 6 o'clock.
And don't forget the other time what we used.
Oh yeah, tradition. It used to be Captain's Night, but now it's called Celebrations Night. When we're in formal wear, we always hit the buffet for a midnight curry. And that's the only time, isn't
Guaranteed.
it? Yeah, but we never really eat in the buffets whatsoever. And also, just to let you know, if you are on a drinks package, which we were, which I'll discuss with you later, the drinks package is included in all the restaurants. Even you paid one, the beach house, we could have our complimentary drinks and the olive grove.
No issues.
So there was no issues with that whatsoever.
Okay, so the nicest pool for us was the infinity pool at the back of the ship, which is probably the favourite of a lot of people's. My wife Carol loves it for the view of the wake of the ship. The water is absolutely stunning. The blues and different shades of blues and whites is amazing.
When we saw the vlogs on this, we said we're going in that whatever the weather, because the last time we went to the fjords we had totally different weather than what we did this time. So in fact, the infinity pool was the only pool that we went on the board this time.
Yeah, we did.
We
didn't
go
do
to
the main
adult
pool.
Ones. We didn't go to the inside one.
No.
We didn't need it with the weather that we had, so we didn't do it at all. We did find there was lots of children in it, as we said before. There was quite a lot of children on the ship. I'm not anti-children. We've got 2 lovely grandchildren ourselves.
It's a nice atmosphere for families.
It's lovely atmosphere. But I believe P&O do a very special offer in June for children. Got travelling with adults. We don't know. It was just what we heard when we were on the ship.
Yeah, somebody had said that they'd actually booked it for and every adult you could pay for a child £49 for a week.
We don't know. I've not seen anything. It was only what people were saying.
But there was over 400 kids
and probably
on board,
with the volume of children, it makes sense that there was probably a special offer on, because we booked it out of school holidays, not thinking as many children would be on. But you just pick your times to go in. You found that lunchtime, when children needed feeding, the pools were quiet. We used to hang around on deck because the weather was good till like 6, half 6 before before we went
everyone
in
had
to get
gone
ready
in
for
to
dinner.
get ready,
Everybody
so
had gone,
we were in
and
the
on the
pool.
last day, people must have gone in to start packing or something, because we were sat at the bar and my husband said, "Quick, get in the pool."
Yeah,
No one
nobody
in, and
in
we
it.
had the infinity pool to
To
ourselves.
so it was lovely.
You know, it was absolutely great. There was only us in. A lot of people complained they couldn't get in the hot tubs, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I've seen that since. We got in three
we were-
different
we- yeah,
ones
we
on the
did.
ship.
I mean,
Yeah.
get whether we were lucky or not, you know, but
Yeah, they're on a timer
did
for
manage.
about 30 minutes, and we did 2 sail outs in a hot tub, actually.
Yeah, we did.
And then we did one on another day. So, and you tend to find people, if you go and have a look and they're full, most people are respectful, and once they've done their 30 minutes, they come out, don't
Yeah,
they? They're not
they've
all
had
the
enough.
time
Yeah.
staying and stuff like that. Loads of sunbeds, never a problem getting a sunbed at all. Sunbeds near the pool, obviously families want to be watching the children going in the pool. Fully understand that, I'd do exactly that myself. But for us, who didn't mind being down the sides where it was less quiet, the sunbeds weren't as congested together, it was absolutely great, wasn't it? Not a problem with sunbeds.
Yeah. So we'll go back in ship now. We're just going to go on to the services, etc., with the bars, the cabin, and the restaurants. Start with the cabin. We find when your cabin steward, it's all about personality, isn't it?
is.
Nationality and personality. Some people want to engage with you and talk, and you can't get away from them, and others, it's a cursory word or two, because they are very busy. The workload they must have now since the pandemic must be horrendous, because you always see them running around.
Yeah, and there seems to be more ratio cabins to the staff
They've
on
got
board.
more cabins
Of course
to do.
they have.
So.
And then you get some that want to wow you and go overboard, hoping for that extra tip at the end of the week, which, yes, we always tip our cabin steward, whatever, for what they do. But it was just little things like that. We found that they weren't as friendly.
Yeah.
Well, ours wasn't. You could walk down the corridors, and believe you me, they are long corridors.
Yeah,
and
very
lots of
long
other
corridors.
people had had banter tea every morning. But as I say, whether they were like that with their own guests in the room, I don't know. But they are under a heck of a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
One tip though we can give you about your room and your cabin is this time P&O always used to give you some milk. Going back years ago, well, it was 7 years since we last sailed. We had the little sachets this time, which trying to rip them open is absolutely nightmare. And we'd heard that if you dial room service, which is completely free,
and ask for a
they
carton of
deliver
milk.
a 2-pint carton of milk to your room. So we did that with
And
it
that
straight
did us
away.
the week.
And that did us the week. It was delivered, popped in the fridge by the time we'd come back after sail away, wasn't it? That was the tip we picked up and we're passing on to you. The show bars that we used were Keel and Cow, the Glass House, and Anderson's. They were the 3 that we stuck to. Mainly. We did the Infinity Bar at the end of the ship because we used the Infinity Pool all the time. The quality of the wine in the Glass House is far superior.
Yeah, it was lovely. Really nice.
Really good service. Quality of wines there is absolutely great. The 710 Club, we told you, excellent musicians. I mean, George Wild in the busker, and the 4-piece band that we saw.
They were amazing.
They were really quirky. They did 2 stints. They did number ones, and then they did their
American
own, and we saw them twice, didn't we?
They were really good.
And then we did a show in the main theatre on the celebration night and our last night, and we saw Sky's the Limit, which was great.
Yeah, it was really good.
A Greatest Day, we had mixed reviews. Would I go and see it again? No, I probably wouldn't, but it was okay.
Yeah, the music was good.
Yeah, I love the music.
But the storyline was non-existent, really.
So we wouldn't dash back
the
to it.
entertainers were good, the dancing was good, the dancing, everything was good, but it's just not for us. So, down to the captain. On this one, we were disappointed actually, because the cruise before, the captain who we would like to have met was Wesley Dunlop. He gets rave reviews off everyone. He makes all the humorous announcements and everything. He even goes off the ship at port and he'll stand and have photographs.
He does that a lot, didn't he, all the time?
Sadly, we missed him by one cruise. Our captain was a good captain from all accounts. We heard him once making the announcements. We never saw him around the ship. and all the announcements were made by the officers on the bridge. So,
so we can't. It was Andrew Wolferson.
He kept us safe, and he did
comment.
his job. But we can't comment on him.
Yeah.
So.
But Captain Wesley, we've heard now, is doing his last cruise to the fjords.
From September.
The fjords on Iona was his baby.
Yeah.
When he took helm of it. And before he moves over to Disney Cruises.
Yeah.
So it'll be a great loss to P&O, I think.
Fantastic for Disney.
But fantastic for Disney. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So now we go on to the dreaded drink package. Shall we have it? Shall we not? We wouldn't drink that much. You must be an alcoholic to have a drinks package and all this, that and the other. It's a really hot topic. We did have the drinks package. But we were averaging about 3 Costa coffees a morning because we always had one before we got off the ship after breakfast. We often had one in an afternoon when we came in.
We liked a hot chocolate at night.
Hot chocolate at night. And then sometimes after dinner we went there and had a coffee before we moved on till we decided what we do. So we would have a minimum of 3 of the Costa drinks, which roughly are $3.95 each. Then each day we had a minimum of 3 bottled waters at £2 because we always took one back to our cabin at night. We took them off the ship every day.
And we drunk them around the ship as well.
The ship. So when you add that up, that's £18 per person before you've even had an alcoholic drink.
Yeah.
And if you have like a Prosecco before your meal or a beer,
or a gin
wine
and tonic
with your dinner or a gin and tonic,
all
those drinks are $7.95 minimum. And you've got to remember that when you get your glass of Prosecco, because it caused a lot of people quite a lot of complaining when we were sat on the bar stools, it's a 125 measure. So it's not a champagne flute of 175. So when they're putting your drink in Prosecco,
it's a small measure.
half a champagne flute. So it doesn't take you long to have 2 Proseccos to get a glass of Prosecco.
No, it doesn't.
So we worked it out. We only had to have 4 drinks before we'd hit our 48.85.
With the soft drinks and the coffee.
With the soft drinks and coffee. So really, it wasn't. It was a no-brainer for us because by the time you'd had, say, a couple of Proseccos, which was like 1 glass, a couple of glasses of wine, a drink in the evening time, you'd gone over that limit
or a beer
in the day.
We had a couple of cocktails and beers in the afternoon as well.
And also for us, when we booked the cruise, there was a 20% discount on the drinks package. So to us, it was a no-brainer.
And also,
absolute no-brainer.
If you book an inside cabin, which is for us was a no-brainer this time, the difference between the money for an inside cabin and a balcony pays for your drinks package.
So that's what you've got to weigh up as well.
You've got to weigh it up. You've got to weigh it up.
So all in all, yes, it's the dreaded question. Every time there's a comment on Facebook groups with Iona, is it worth it? There's arguments. You don't have to be an alcoholic. You've just got to think what you drink. Price it all out, bearing in mind when you do have the classics package, it's the Costa coffees, the bottled waters, which all them are chargeable. You've got to work out, is it for you?
Yeah.
Okay, right. To summarise everything up now. As I say, we last sailed with P&O 7 years ago.
Yeah.
We've had a COVID pandemic, like you said.
Yeah.
Turn down savings.
Done other cruise lines.
We've done other cruise lines as well. Yeah, very much so. In fact, we haven't, as I say, been with P&O for 7 years.
No.
We've done Celebrity, Princess. We've even done Morella. We've done others. So that we've had plenty of experience. So turn down service is only in the morning. Is it an issue to us to turn it down at night? Do you miss that chocolate?
It used to be a nice little extra, but if you've not had chocolate by midnight, you don't need it.
No. Staff seemed a lot of pressure, we've talked about before, in dining rooms, on the cabin floors, in the bars. But that's due to probably not as many staff on board, the ship's going bigger.
More work around.
So that's something that we've seen. I asked one night for something with a salad in the main dining room.
Yeah.
And the waiter said, oh no, I can't do that with a salad. It comes and it was like vegetables and it's something that I didn't like. So I said, well, can I have 2 starters? And he said, oh no, we can't do that. So it was just a case of we weren't moving with him. If we'd have been on another workstation where another server was, would he have brought it for me? It's like we said with the cabin steward.
Yeah.
Ours was a bit quiet and not very friendly, but it's luck of the draw.
They're under pressure.
And what you get
it's
and under
personality.
pressure. Yeah. So formal nights, when we used to sail before on a 7-night cruise, we'd have 3
2 or
formal
3,
nights, yeah. It's nice just to do the one.
Yeah, it is.
It was nice to see so many people adhering
Definitely.
to it and dressing up. It was really
And some
lovely.
of the young families really
yeah,
nicely
really,
dressed.
and having the
yeah,
children
lovely.
all dressed up. It was really lovely to see that. Now with the Iona, because all the bars spill out into the atrium, like the Keel and Cow and the Glass House, unfortunately they do let people in like football shirts, anyone who's not in celebration clothes on that night, into those bars. So that was a little bit disappointing for us.
Yeah.
But if you went to the likes of Anderson's...
dressing up's not for everyone.
No, but...
I think they should make it in certain areas that you've got to be dressed
When we were
up.
on the Oriana and the Azura and the Britannia, they made it very firm that if you weren't in formal
if you
kit,
didn't have a jacket on, you didn't get in a dining room.
You didn't get in a dining room.
No.
And I think that will be the same in Anderson's. We never actually...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did go in late on, but we went in after our meal. But nearly everybody was in formal wear in there, weren't they? Yeah. Something else we found that we missed out on was, as I said to you, we sunbathed quite a lot around the side of the ship. We found it less spacious, more sunbeds, more space, you weren't crammed in, but they never came round waiters down there offering drinks at all. So if you wanted a drink, you'd to put your sarong on, put your beach dress, or my husband his shorts, go to the bar, and then you're carrying them back. The only time they offer a service round the bar on a pool deck or an outside deck is round the actual infinity bar.
Yeah.
And I would imagine they'll do it on the adult bar at the end of the ship as well.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that we found as well that we missed. Embarkation, if you're using CPS before, you used to pull up, somebody got out with a handheld machine, did all your car, did all your things, give you your chitty.
Take your luggage.
Give you your tie for the car key, and while this was all being done, the porters had got your luggage out the car, put it on a conveyor, and you went off into the terminal.
Yeah.
This has all changed now, so you park in different lanes for CPS. They still do your car, but you have to get your own luggage out and take your own luggage over to the conveyor belts where the ship is.
And they move your car.
They're all labelled on decks. They move your own car. And unfortunately it's the queue to get on board, so it is quite congested over there, isn't it? What I personally felt was the Ocean Terminal was a fantastic terminal.
Yeah.
So many chairs upstairs. You used to just drop your car off, your luggage was taken away, you made yourself upstairs to the terminal where you sat on seats until your time for boarding was, but there was a lounge bar, there was a coffee shop.
Yeah, you got a card with a letter on for your boarding.
And they called you through, didn't you?
But you could relax then.
You could relax and have a glass of wine. So if you got there an hour early, like we said before, you're queuing outside or whatever, you could sit up there and you weren't under pressure, were you? Because you can't judge your time.
Well, no.
And especially for people travelling down on the same day, we could judge it a bit more going from Southampton because he told us roughly how long the traffic was taking. Yeah. One thing that we thoroughly loved was on the Iona, the toilets are self-opening and self-closing door.
Yeah, got sensors.
All you did was put your hand under and they opened, which I thought was an absolute fantastic idea. So many people on these ships do not wash their hands. No. So all I can say is keep washing your own hands. We were very disappointed on the amount of gel stations,
there wasn't many sanitizers
just outside the like the dining room areas. None like me, you'd be going down a corridor or at the top of the stairs.
You'd see people
when you'd come out and list because
in
you're touching the buttons in list. There was none. So just a tip from us: keep washing your own hands. Take your own hand sanitizer. Just look after your own hygiene.
Yeah. So usually when we go on our own on these, we do our own excursions. The only exception to this is if we feel like the trip we want to do is too far away from the ship to get back under our own steam on time for departure. And that's when we'll actually book something with P&O.
Yeah, and if it's a bit like remote places, like when we were coming back from Hawaii and we did Mexico, you just didn't know what it was like. And when we've done the Caribbean, it's we've done a couple of excursions there. But on the whole, it's part of our holiday doing the research into it, really.
Most of the ports we went into, you could walk into anyway.
Yeah,
and it was safe enough. Everything was fairly local. And if you wanted to do an excursion and you didn't book it through P&O, all the local companies were there and a lot of them were the same ones that P&O used with the excursions. So somebody said to us at Helisilt they'd booked the rib ride with P&O, and when they got off the ship it was about £40 cheaper to book it locally. So P&O obviously want to make money, and they are doing, but if you think you've got time and it's close, it's only an hour and a half, 2 hours on the rib. So you've got time to get there and get back without any panic. So I'd look at booking it when you get off the ship, really.
Yeah.
It saves some money.
Yeah.
You know, saves some money.
Yeah. So on the whole, that's our week ended on the Iona. This has been our very last vlog that we've done, the summary of it. Would we sail on her again? Oh yes, we
definitely would.
Would we sail with P&O again? Oh yes, we would. And did we love it? Yeah, we did.
Would.
And the weather, my goodness, as I said, last time we didn't go prepared. We had terrible weather. You couldn't get out on the decks.
No.
You were forcing against the wind out there. This time, 26 degrees.
Every day.
And coats, body warmers.
Stayed in the suitcase.
Stayed in the suitcase. We didn't even get them out. So, I hope you've enjoyed our travels. We have got a couple just coming up. We've got the Beyond coming up, haven't we? But only a summary of the Beyond.
Yeah.
We didn't do a day-to-day one, did we?
No.
We've just started vlogging, really, because that is our hobby, our passion for travel. So if you've liked our content and you've seen any of the others, please hit the subscribe button so that you know when we've got future vlogs coming out.
And have a look at the back ones that we've done for this series.
Yeah.
So
we actually go to Tenerife a couple of times a year. And we're not going to vlog our next trip to Tenerife apart from one of the excursions that we're doing. My husband's hobby is the stars and stargazing. Now, we've done the stargazing trip up Mount Tidy before, but this time we're actually staying in the hotel that faces Tidy, and we're going to be doing it ourselves during the night. We've booked a superior room with a wraparound balcony.
Suite with a wraparound balcony.
So with views over the volcano. The next real travel vlog coming up there will be us getting our car, heading up Tidy, and then coming down the other side. So look out for that one in about 6 or 7 weeks' time. But if you subscribe, you will get notification when all our vlogs come out. We're building our channel, and we'd love to grow our community of viewers, really, won't we?
Please like and subscribe.
Yep.
And we'll see you in the next one.
See you very soon.